We're back, we're racing, and we are catching up after the Brazilian Grand Prix and looking forward to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix this coming weekend. So he's back in Centertown at the Brazilian Grand Prix, the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, or as I know it, Interlagos. So going into the Grand Prix, it was a great start off the line. From start to finish of the Grand Prix, we saw wheel-to-wheel action, and we saw Lewis going up against Max Verstappen. It's a real changing of the guard kind of moment, it feels like, for me. And this one didn't disappoint. This man, Valtteri Bottas, he really spiced things up with his retirement and where he parked the vehicle. But it was a great epic toe-to-toe battle. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen in the early phases and on them initial restarts as well after the safety car. And it was just a beauty to behold. It got a bit quiet after about lap 30 onwards, but then with that safety car, my goodness, I'm going to bang on about it, and we're going to focus on a bit more footage in this episode, give you just some good content that I liked, likes of Pierre Gasly, of course. Carlos Sainz, what a job he done this Grand Prix. And look at this, synchronized overtaking for the Red Bulls here. We've got Albon really getting his elbows out. We've got to do a piece on him as well because it was an exceptional drive from the young Thai driver, and Gasly to get second. Wow. What a turnaround. It finished Verstappen, Gasly, and Sainz on the podium. What a podium. Who would have predicted that? You would have got good odds if you'd have predicted that coming into the weekend. But relief for that man. What relief. It's just incredible. So it finished Verstappen, Gasly, Sainz, Kimi Raikkonen, P4. Giovinazzi 5th. Great results there. Ricardo, good comeback because he had contact earlier in the Grand Prix. I think a penalty as well. So P6 solid for him. Hamilton 7th after that late steward score and it to wait way too long. Norris P8 to be disappointed seeing his teammate, of course, up in P3. You've got Perez P9, good points, and Kvyat as well must be feeling a bit gutted seeing his teammate on the podium. He's had one himself, and remember this year though. Magnussen just outside the points, Russell, Grosjean, Albon, Hulkenberg, Kubica, and of course, didn't finish. We had Vettel, Leclerc, Stroll, and Bottas, who went out of this Grand Prix. Remember, Stroll, he was very unlucky. He hit some debris, broke the front end of his car, and had to retire. The two Ferraris, self-inflicted. We'll get onto them in a little while. And Valtteri Bottas, it looks like the engine just gave up the go at the end of the Grand Prix, but onwards and upwards for the Toro Rosso boys. What a result for Pierre Gasly after being demoted midway through this season, after, a tough start to life at the premier team in Red Bull. This guy's come back and he's just found his feet again in this team of Toro Rosso. They give him what he needs. The car suits his driving, maybe a bit easier to drive, but he puts it in the right place and he really executes a great race. And you can see it here with a podium, P2 as well. And you can see that drag up to the final corner. We'll get onto it in just a second. But huge congratulations to Pierre Gasly. Look at the excitement. What you got to say for the Honda power unit, guys, man? A few years ago, this wouldn't have been possible. Excellent result there.
I just did it. Okay. Yeah! Grazie! Grazie!
Pierre, this is John from that one. Absolutely fantastic.
Incredible. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Unbelievable, Pierre, unreal.
Oh my god, this is the best day of my life. Guys, thank you so much.
Amazing.
You're amazing. You guys are amazing. Merci.
What a result for the Toro Rosso boys and Pierre Gasly. Moving on to McLaren. Believe in McLaren, boys and girls. Believe in Carlos Sainz. This guy does not give up. He started 20th on the grid. And due to the 5-second penalty of Lewis Hamilton, this guy finished on the podium. The Formula 1.5 champion this season. Best of the rest goes to Carlos Sainz. And P4 in the championship for McLaren. Remember, going into the season, the likes of Autosport, a lot of experts were predicting a tough year for McLaren once again, but they've really put themselves at the forefront of this midfield pack, and that's a massive leap. And there'll be big expectations now going into the next season. Definitely 2021 is going to be the big unknown. That's where there can be a lot of movers and shakers, I feel. But Lando Norris, you know, he was a bit caught out towards the end of the race with the safety cars, etc. And it was a bit unlucky, a bit unfortunate for him, but we saw some great driving from both of the drivers. We saw, of course, Carlos Sainz had to come a long way from 20th all the way up to 3rd to finish the race. And Lando Norris done a great job. Moving on to the Red Bull boys, Max Verstappen, take a bow, son. Take a bow. He really gone up in my estimations. He's really ironed out his consistency now as well. And he's just delivering solid results. And he's looking like a champion's drive, you know, going toe-to-toe with Lewis, who really enjoyed that battle there. And yeah, he's definitely next year. We've got to watch out for these boys. This is our first win in Brazil since Ayrton Senna's epic victory in 91. Finally, congratulations to McLaren, for whom scored their last win in 1991, for finishing on the podium today. So recognition for McLaren, of course, that partnership they've previously had, and great result for the Honda power unit. It was looking like it could be a Honda 1-2-3. It's an incredible feeling right now. And to win today was a huge team effort, says Max Verstappen. And it's a culmination of things. It's the engine side, you know, it's the new side design. Let's have a look here at a few key differences, which really won the race, I think.
Hey, you slow down.
Just want you to pass before the line.
So we've got Lewis here. He bolts quite early. Look at the crest of the hill here. And this just enables Max Verstappen to get in his toe and to get a run at him. Pretty easy. Goes to the outside, hangs it out there. I say pretty easy, but my God, he hung on in there. Lewis gave him space. Good driving between the pair of them. Lewis manages to get back underneath him. Coming up to the next corner, Max has to go really defensive, you can see here. Cross to the inside. Beautiful driving.
Fantastic. Let's put away.
And he's really making these moves stick right now. Moving on to Albon. Having an exceptional race. Exceptional. Today just wasn't meant to be. It's done now. And we'll focus on the positives before the next race. Albon, you should be positive, mate. I saw you take a leap there. You was up there with the Ferraris. Look at this on the restart here. He's got his teammate there fighting for the lead ahead of him. Look at this. So confined the space here, but he still goes for the outside. Hangs it out there. Look, off the track almost. Holds it together. It gets the position. And again, the Ferrari's going to come back. Good defensive driving from Albon at this point. Again, has to go defensive.
Lead out two.
So
Mate, fuck off.
Yeah, not too happy with the engineer there. You can see on the restart there, Max Verstappen left it so late, like coming up to the line in terms of like bolting, and that just didn't give Albon the opportunity to get the toe and just have it drag it down into turn one. So smart driving as well, adapting his driving, learning throughout the Grand Prix. Max Verstappen there. At this point, it was looking peachy. 1-2 for Red Bull. You know, that would have been something else. It was great, of course, to get the
That fucking shit from the
really. This is the moment. So he's taken a wide line there. He's not seen Lewis coming into it. And look at this, because of the restart, everyone's bunched up. Just wait to the last car. We almost collected Williams.
Fail.
Ah!
Fail. 8-4. Fail.
Hear the emotion here.
Mate, you did an excellent job today.
Hard luck, Alex. That was robbed at the end there. Chin up, Alex. You've had a great race today.
No.
So just a bit of acknowledgement there from Lewis, like, my bad, hold his hands up. He felt terrible about that, taking that first podium. A potential 1-2 for the team as well. For the other team, you can see here, Lewis coming up after the Grand Prix. Just apologising. and gutted. That's the only word I can say for Albon. Absolutely gutted. You drove valiantly. You got your elbows out, lads, and you should hold your head very, very high. I think you're going to be chomping at the bit. You're going to be closing the gap to Max. And yeah, moving on to Ferrari. What can we say about Ferrari? Total ill discipline throughout the year in terms of like execution of the operation. And these boys, you need to sort it out, lads. I mean, it was the minor sort of contact, but still, this is where the season has gone. There's just been small errors of judgment, and it's really cost them. So you can see here, Leclerc going very strong on a fresher tyre, I do believe, overtaking his teammate. Remember, Leclerc started way far back compared to his teammate due to the grid penalty. Sebastian's not having any of it. Goes to the outside there, and it was the kind of angle of the touch of the rim to that right front of Charles Leclerc, which just caused the catechis just so much. The light touch has caused so much damage. Really hard to imagine, and just put them both out of the race because Sebastian Vettel didn't slow down enough, and he just destroyed the rear of his car.
That's going to happen. He
here we go. We've got side by side on board here, so
Vettel by 8 points. And at the moment, no, he just wants to get past his teammates, which he does. Charles Leclerc down the inside of Sebastian Vettel, and he moves himself up into 4th place. Vettel will get DRS down the Reta Aposta. Can he now fight back? Leclerc made it very tough earlier. No, he's got a puncture. They made contact, and Charles Leclerc's got a puncture caused by.
So absolute drama at the end of the Grand Prix. We had both Ferraris out. Thank you, Ferrari, at the same time, because you gave us an epic race. You gave us Pierre Gasly on the podium. We gave Carlos Sainz his first podium. So shout out to Ferrari for that. And look, we can just see Sebastian driving around too fast and just destroying the rear end of the car. So disappointing day, disappointing season. And 2020, you boys need to pull your socks up and really get your finger out, because oh my God, they've got the potential there. They've got a fast car. They've got fast drivers. They've got the right people in the right places, but it's just not coming off at the minute. 2020 could be their year. It could definitely be Red Bulls as well. Moving on to the Mercedes boys. Lewis came, well, he didn't come P3, come P7, didn't he? And it was a DNF for Valtteri Bottas. It was looking like a fairly solid day. We had we really didn't have a lot of pace today, and I think we were probably going faster than we should have gone. Congratulations to Red Bull. They did the better job and deserved to win. They were extremely quick. So Lewis knows he's got a fight on his hands. Of course, all the teams are going to be focused on next year's car at this point. So just an evolution of this car. And he was quite unlucky to miss out on that drag up to the end of the Grand Prix. We can see here the statement after the race and what was said. And Valtteri Bottas, he was the mystery man, you would say. Just really didn't see much of him. He wasn't really, putting his weight about overtaking anyone or attacking. It was really disappointing, especially since there was a lot happening afterwards. So it would have been nice to have been part of the action. I'm looking forward to the next race in Abu Dhabi. I want to come back stronger. I mean, you caused all that action, Valtteri, so we have to thank you as well. Thank you, Valtteri, for creating a dramatic end to the Brazilian Grand Prix. We all owe you a pint or two, my friends. So moving on. Well, what can we say about Alpha? P4, P5, and what a lovely shot that is as well. Solid day, and they was unlucky as well to attack. They was really on the back of Carlos Sainz to the end of the Grand Prix on a fresher tyre. Remember, Carlos Sainz, he was on, I think it was a medium compound, and he'd done plenty of laps on them as well. So he struggled in the warm-up phase of the restart, especially on older tyres, harder tyres. Really hard to get them going. Moving on to Racing Point,
a bit
got
of a
some points.
puncture as
Unlucky
well.
for Stroll
Whoa.
here.
His right front suspension's broken, his steering arm's broken.
Yeah. And I wonder, do you think running over the debris,
So yeah, debris there. Moving on to the Renault boys as well. A poor day at the office, you'd have to say. Daniel Ricciardo in the early phases was a bit scruffy. Going up the inside of K-Mag, he's not going to give you any space. You should know better. But the Racing Point boys, they had a tough season. They've had a really tough season. They've not had a car which has been, strong because of the finances previous seasons. But Renault, on the other hand, they've had all of that, power, resource amongst the team, and they've not really used it to great effect. And, Racing Point have done a lot more with their car, I'd have to say. Haas, again, right the season off on a single lap over a Saturday, they might be okay. But when it comes to race pace, they're just nowhere to be seen. So funny, Gene Haas, he must be pulling his hair out right now. And I hope these boys bounce back next year. Otherwise, 2021, I don't think we'll be seeing Haas if they have another season like this. Williams, the only time we really mentioned them too much is when they pulled out in front of the the race leader, and the fastest lap went to Valtteri Bottas, 1:10.6. You can see the fastest pit stop at 1:82 for the Red Bull boys and Max Verstappen, who was your driver of the day as well. So many drivers of the day, wasn't there? Races before a podium, Carlos Sainz on 101, Ricciardo took 55 and Gasly 46 there. And we saw some nice shots there as well in the rain. 24 mechanics work on a pit stop, did you know? And it takes a lot of people to service for 1.8 seconds. The safety car, thank you very much. You played a blinder. Fernando Alonso shocked. He's seeing Honda, and then a McLaren on the podium. So, eyes open time. Charles Leclerc, 7 pole positions so far this season. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Good to talk to you again. Sorry the upload has been a bit late. It's been super busy with work, other commitments, etc. But it's been nice to catch up with you. Let me know what kind of content you want to see. I'm up to switching it up a bit in the not too distant future. And we've just booked our tickets for the pre-season test. So expect to see us at the Circuit de Catalunya in February with the new cars coming out. Give you that inside track once again. Probably have to do it on a bit of a different platform. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you for another weird video soon.